Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to create an image of an Eyebright using coloured pencil. I've got a small piece of cartridge paper here. You can use copier paper, any kind of sketching paper to do this. And I've drawn a very simple outline of an Eyebright, which is a semi-parasitic plant found on grassland, and it's one of 19 species of Eyebright in the UK and is found all over the National Botanic Garden of Wales site. So go and have a look and see if you can find some. What you want to do first of all is to copy this image using a 2B pencil. 2B pencil is nice and soft but not too hard that it leaves marks on your paper. If you make mistakes, rub out with a putty rubber if you've got one, but keep it nice and simple. And I'm going to show you a couple of different techniques now to create a coloured image. Because this flower is mainly white, it has a slight sort of purple tinge to it in places, and bits of pink and bits of yellow. You'll see the final product at the end, so you'll understand what I'm talking about. What we need to do to make the white stand out is to actually put some colour down on the background. I'm just going to do this with coloured pencil. I've got Faber-Castell coloured classic colour pencils here. They're numbered, so I'll tell you the numbers just in case you have them, and you can use the same colours. Keep your pencils nice and sharp and just start in those gaps there. We've got a background here which has been created using a macro setting on a camera, and that's where the finished result of the background is out of focus, which is really useful because it makes your images stand out really nicely. Your subjects, and that being the Eyebright flower head. So the macro setting gives you a very sort of blurred result in the background. So that's what we're going to create using our pencils here today. And all we're going to do is we're going to use our pencil along the length, rather than holding the tip upright like this. Just use it on the side and just gently shade as much of the background as you want to shade in. I'm just going to show you a little bit and then I'll put it on time lapse and you can watch the rest being produced. So use a variety of greens. I've got, this is a number 371, and then I've got a richer green here which is a 366, and you can just sort of introduce different colours, and if you want them to be darker, cross hatch. We've talked about this in other tutorials. Cross hatch means just putting your line down in one direction, then changing the direction by moving your hand and going in the other direction, and this will just represent different patches of greens in the background. So you can use greens, you can use yellows. I've got some cadmium yellow here, that's a number 307, and I've got some yellow ochre which is a 309. So mix and match those colours and build up that background. You'll see it build up on the time lapse. Now the other thing to work on is the flower head, and the flower head, like I said, is white, but as we all know there are different shades of white, so we're going to use, I've got a purple here, 334, and we're going to use that to colour this upright section, petal section here, and we're just going to go in very gently to begin with. And because you can always darken it up later, remember you can use the cross hatching technique, but we're just going to fill in the sort of the bottom area of those petals. As it goes up it becomes whiter, so don't go all the way up to the top. And then down here we've got some shadow, just very, very delicate, almost not touching the paper with your pencil. Just put in the suggestion of a little, so you have to be light-handed here, which is difficult for me because I'm very heavy-handed. So it might take a little bit of practice. And under here, if you put the darkness here, then that makes this area project forward. You're in effect creating a shadow there. And you can darken this colour up later if you want, depending on how it turns out. So just go in lightly to begin with, and then you can increase the tone later if necessary. Okay, and then add the rest of the colour. These areas here are yellow, so I'm using a cadmium yellow here, again a number 309, so block that in. The edge of this is also yellow, like that, and this is also yellow. Okay, block that in. In the background we've got some little buds, so this is a bud and this is a bud, and we've got some green leaves, so it's like almost like an olive or a sap green that you need for the leaves. So again, block them in, and as we block in, you can closely observe where the highlights and the shadows are, because that's what you'll work on next. Okay, so in order to put a shadow in, so on this leaf here we would have a shadowed area at the base of the leaf. So just take a darker green, this is a 372, and just put in some darker areas around where the other leaves are touching one another at the base. That's part of the petal, but I can shade that in. And then to put a highlight on, you just take something like a yellow and you put the yellow where the light is catching the tips of those leaves. Okay, in here there's a very dark colour, so I'll probably use a dark purple or a black, and there are some long stripes on the flower. So I've done the basics there, just follow that pattern and I'll put it on time lapse so you can watch the rest.